You're listening to the Collected Podcast, bringing you inspiration and resources to help you discover and live from your truest self. Follow along on social media at Collected Workshops, and be sure to visit thecollectedpodcast.com for show notes and to learn more. The Collected Podcast is sponsored by Clean Juice, a certified organic nutrition and wellness bar with more than 100 locations in development in 16 states. Learn more at cleanjuice.com.
Welcome to episode 37 of the Collected Podcast. I'm Michaela Hooper.
I'm Jess Biondo.
And I'm Tia McNelly.
This week on the show, we're so excited to have Cheryl Luckett. She is the creator of Dwell by Cheryl, which is a fabulous interior design company.
I love the way that this woman lives out her faith through her company and the way that she makes her work ministry. Mm-hmm. Absolutely loved her.
And you will hear how her journey of getting to do something that she's passionate about took time, and it took effort and energy and thought
and strategy.
Yeah, but you will be challenged by her process and also encouraged. So, without further ado, Cheryl Luckett.
Hey, Cheryl, welcome to the Collected Podcast.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you. Before we get started with your story, would you mind telling the listeners a little bit about your current business, and then we'll back up to talk about how you got there?
Okay. I am the principal designer and owner of Dwell by Cheryl Interiors, which launched January 1st, 2012. It's a small residential boutique interior design firm in the Charlotte area. It's myself and a design assistant, and we help people love where they live.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And you said it's called Dwell?
Dwell by Cheryl.
Love it. I love it. So let's go back a little bit, because you've had a long journey to where you are today.
Yes, I have.
Do you mind telling us a little bit about your upbringing and your faith journey?
Sure. So I grew up in the church. I don't ever remember a time not being there.
That's awesome.
From Sunday school to vacation Bible school and everything in between. I accepted Christ at the age of 12
Oh, wow.
in 1988. It was a Thursday night at Spring Revival.
Nice. Wow.
And I remember it because it was a decision that, and at least in my church, they taught the kids to really take seriously. And I remember deliberating on whether I was really ready. Like it wasn't simplified in the way that I think it is now, which I like.
Yeah.
But I remember having to come to grips with what I didn't want to do it and not be ready.
Wow.
And
You're so mature at 12.
Right. It was a big deal. I probably would have done it sooner had they not really made it this thing that you need to know for sure that you believe. And so I took it very seriously. So it's etched in my memory.
I love that. That's awesome. And so then did you stay close with the Lord through your whole life since then?
I did. I'm a rule follower, and I color in the lines, and I'm a bit of a type A and respect authority. So,
Yeah.
growing up in that environment, they said it was, I was fed in a way that helped to guide my decisions. And honestly, I don't have one of those dramatic stories where I fell away. And honestly, I used to feel a little guilty about that.
You're the one that gives us hope for the next generation.
So I realized, though, that my story is that he kept me from so much.
Yeah.
So even in college, I was the girl at church on Sunday in college. As a matter of fact, I think I was in the high schoolers ministry as a college kid.
Wow.
Serving. So yeah,
That's incredible.
I have a long history with the Lord.
I love that. And so, you said you were kind of type A rule follower. I know that you have had an interesting career path, and you took a couple of sharp turns in there.
Yeah.
Maybe you can give us a look at that, because I know that there's one particular point in your career path that you said you had a pretty type A plan.
Yeah.
So give us kind of a picture of how you've developed your career.
So I've always been a creative. I think I've known that since the very beginning. But like many others, I was steered in a more practical career path. My parents are educators. So my mom was a high school guidance counselor. And, when it came down to pick a career, I had my ideas and I was kind of maybe pointed in a different direction.
Yep.
And so I took the more practical route and became a registered dietitian. And so it's a credential I still hold today because I worked really hard for it. And you always need a plan B. So I started work at a large corporation in food service management. And so it was really a dream job for a dietitian. I worked in it for about 10 years. I traveled. I basically planned school meals, trained school lunch staff on USDA regulations, and I was there when we took the fryers out and made school lunch healthier, the whole thing. And so it was great, but I never really had a passion for it. I did it well. I liked it. I made great money, but it didn't light me up. And so that was good for about 10 years. And then I think I was getting mid-30s, and I was like, what am I doing? I was getting tapped for other opportunities at the company. And I'm like, do I want to stay here and climb this ladder? Or do I want to do something else? And so I started to pray about what that might be. And I was led to a mentor who had a position in the same company in HR, which would allow me a little bit more flexibility. So I took it. And so I came off the road and started working in diversity and inclusion at this company. And that gave me some breathing room for some hobbies, for a little bit more work-life balance. And so I just started to dabble.
Yeah. It seems like that. It's interesting to me. You must have really been busting it in your dietitian role, because it seems like diversity and inclusion in HR could have been really stressful.
Well, that diversity was something that I was involved with in the company already.
Okay.
Kind of as an extracurricular.
Got it.
They had committees. I was, involved in that space.
Yeah.
But that wasn't my role.
Okay.
So it was a smooth transition. It was something
good.
that was, I was passionate about anyway. So I just made that leap, that transition there. Just again to get a little bit more balance. And so I with the extra time, I decided, I think I'll take a class. I love design. I had bought my first single family home. People were coming over and saying, you should be doing this for a living. And I was like, y'all are crazy.
Isn't it funny how people speak into our purpose?
Yeah. Like when you hear it over and over again, you're like, So I put my toe in the water and I said, I'll just take a little class at the community college. What could it hurt? And I met a girl there who was like 18, fresh out of high school. And she was like, you should start a blog. I'm like, what in the world is a blog? I didn't even know what that was. So I listened to her and I started a blog, and that meant I needed a name for the blog, which meant I needed to register with the name, which meant, well, if I was going to have a blog, I wanted to promote it. I needed a logo and a blog designer because remember Type A.
You opened that can of worms.
Yep. Yeah. And before you knew it, I had a business. Wow. So people started to read the blog and reach out. And so for about 2 years, I side hustled. I went back, I continued to take classes. I got clients. It started to kind of snowball, and it was becoming apparent that I was going to need to make some decisions again.
Wow.
What am I doing? What is this? Is this a hobby, or could this possibly be a career? So I decided that, I got to pray about this. This is a big decision. I'm a single girl. I've got bills to pay, mortgage, car note, the whole nine. And I can't see myself leaving this perceived security here at this corporate entity where I have direct deposit hitting once a month. So the Lord had to work on me in that area, and I made the decision that I would take 36 months. I even gave it a name, Project 36.
Yes.
And that was my 36 months exit strategy out of corporate.
Wow.
So
that's amazing. So yeah, that Type A process, Project 36, I would love for us to dive deeper into that because, I'm married and I get a lot of people who ask me, Tia, how did you end up doing what you're doing right now? And I got it a lot when I was working in Kenya full time too. And my answer was always, thank God for my husband who's supportive and funds my passion. Yep. But as a single woman, I really want other single women to believe and know that it's possible for them to follow their dreams and to pursue their passions. So tell us what that looked like for you.
So obviously, a lot of my angst around leaving my day job was financial because I was the breadwinner. So I needed to get comfortable with having some safeguards in place. So the first stop was, okay, I need a financial plan. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I mean, I've got this money coming on a regular basis, but should I be redirecting it somewhere? I had no idea. So I reached out to a financial planner who I went to literally at the beginning of this 36 months and said, I want to leave my job in 3 years. What do I need to be doing? This is how much I make. This is who I owe. This is what my bills are. And she literally laid out a 36-month plan. And she said, if you're leaving, we can do this, but this is what you're going to need to do. And so having that accountability was critical. So once that was in place, I started to say, okay, well, that's the financial end of it. From an education standpoint, I was in school. And honestly, I started school just as a little, thing to do on the side, fell in love with it. One class led to another. Before I knew it, I was in the program. And so I worked it out that if I continued, and I literally took one class at a time, if I continued, I would be finishing up at the end of this 36 months. See, that's how the Lord works. Wow. So I had this plan for finances and now for education. And so I'm like, okay, from a business standpoint, from a branding standpoint, what do I need to have in place? And so I wanted the phone to be ringing when I left.
Yeah.
So what do I need to do to get my name out there, to really stay in front of people? So I had a strategy around marketing and promotion so that people knew who Dwell by Cheryl was before I left my job.
Very smart.
So that was a part of it. And then, of course, I had my day job could finance my side hustle, so I started to make investments, whether that was going to business conferences in design, taking time off, taking my vacation days to go to High Point Market or get design conferences just so I could meet people, connect, while I could afford to do it. And so all of that really helped to position me at the end of that 36 months to where, don't get me wrong, it was still terrifying. It's terrifying to this day.
Yes.
But I had a level of comfort that said, look, you heard from God. You've done all the things. There's nothing left to do but leap.
Wow.
That's
it. And I feel like sometimes we can surpass the planning and the strategy and want to just leap. And that's not always what it looks like. Yeah. Sometimes it is. We've interviewed guests who that is their story, that they just took the leap and got provided. But sometimes God's plan is to put a strategy in place. And so I think that is really helpful to just hear the way that we can be purposeful in the way that we exit. Yeah. That's brilliant.
Yeah. And it really was. It was a God move. Like I heard 36 months from him. Like I prayed. Wow. I don't know. I can't do this. So there was some resistance from me. There was he had to work on me. But that 36, I knew. I knew the drop dead date beyond a shadow of a doubt was December 31st, 2016.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's great.
And in those 36 months, were there any surprising doors that God opened that just blew you away or helped sustain you? Because working a full-time job plus getting your training and going to school and building your side hustle, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at right now. And sometimes it feels exhausting. And were there any ways that God just sustained you through that blew you away?
I think for me, there were markers all along the way. And that kept me going. It also reconfirmed that I was headed in the right direction. I mean, there were so many little, I'm working full time somewhere else. I'm going to school at night, and I'm in magazines with people who have been doing this for a decade and do it full time. So I'm like, how am I even here?
Yeah.
Like, how am I? This doesn't even make sense. So there's no other explanation than this is God.
Yeah, favor.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. People were calling. I had a waiting list because I could only take on one client at a time. I had to go to school and I had to go to work. So I would say I have a waiting list. It's going to be months before I can probably get to you. And they'd be like, okay, put us on the list. Wow. Wow. Okay. So people were lining up. Well, that just further confirmed you're going in the right direction. Yep. Brands started to reach out. I had a partnership with the Habitat Restores in the Charlotte metro area, which really kind of helped to solidify my brand and kind of put me on the map as a business very early on. So I became like a spokesperson for them. I would, make news appearances on days off. So it was all of those little markers just helped me to know, yep, you're going in the right direction.
We are so grateful to be partnered with Clean Juice as our sponsor for the Collected podcast. And let me tell you, Collected basically survived on Clean Juice last week at Collected Camp.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
We did.
We had the Greenwa salads almost every day. Mm-hmm. And on Friday of last week, we got to try the new pink cold pressed juice. It's dragon fruit and lemon. And it's so tart, but it's so refreshing and tasty.
Mm-hmm. And it's so pretty to look at.
It is.
It's a very bright pink. But those Greenwa salads are so filling. Mm-hmm. You get so much food. It's such a great deal.
I was surprised at how full
really
I was.
split them.
Yeah, we really could have. Yeah, and they have a great combo deal where you can get a Greenwa salad and a cold pressed juice for less than the price of two juices. I think it's like $15? I'm not sure. Anyways,
it's a good deal.
You can get in the app and see the pricing for all their items, all their new products, and the summer menu that's just out recently.
My favorite Greenwa bowl was the Popeye. That's the one I got every day.
And I loved the Green 14.
Same.
Oh, that one looked really good too.
Yeah.
So check them out.
Yeah. Get refreshed this summer with your Clean Juice drink and salad.
I think it's so important to remind people to take the time to acknowledge those markers. I think we get so busy that we don't acknowledge, like, oh, wait, that is God's provision. Mm-hmm. That is Him reminding me you're on the right path. Keep going. Hold the course.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And then since the 36 months have ended, what doors has God opened for you now?
Girl, I can't even tell it all. So, after being obedient, the floodgates really opened.
Yep.
It was kind of like He was waiting on me to make that step. And once I made that step, He's like, okay, now I can show you what I had for you. People ask, I launched my first licensed product line last October.
Which is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Oh, my word.
We have a 5-piece furniture collection with Sylvester Alexander, a family-owned furniture business in Hickory, North Carolina. And that opportunity, people were like, well, did you always want to design products? I'm like, no, it was not anywhere. I had no idea. What? I just started this business full time 2 years ago, and my phone is ringing about wanting to partner with me to develop furniture. I'm like, well, okay. So just, there's been so many things, national magazine features, show houses with some of the best designers in our area. I often find myself, it's gotten to be so much the norm, I don't even question it anymore. Like, how am I even in this room? Like, how am I at this table? I had a really big designer from Atlanta. I was at a traditional home dinner a few months ago, and she I don't think she meant anything by it negative, but she asked me, so how did you get here?
I ask people that sometimes. Like, how did you end up here?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I knew what she meant because I had the same question. And I literally, before I could even think about my response, I told her the Lord.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. That's how I got here at this table with you, the big designer from Atlanta.
Wow.
I got here because of the Lord.
Mm-hmm. We just had our our collected camp last week, and one of our main themes was helping these girls understand that they already have a seat at the table, that they belong at the King's table.
Yep.
And at the King's table, everything is available: favor, provision, opportunity, abundance in all forms.
Right.
And yeah, I love watching or, hearing you tell your story of sitting at the table and believing you belong.
Yeah. Right.
Beautiful.
Yep.
That's amazing.
It's been a wild journey.
So right now, like currently today, this week, what's the Lord working on you with right now? What's Holy Spirit speaking to you about?
So, one of the things being a daughter of the King and having been so since really the beginning, you get real comfortable with your beliefs and the Bible and the familiarity of church and religion. It's one thing to believe something, and it's another thing to be placed in a position where there is nothing else. So for me, this leap has completely upgraded my faith level, right? Faith without works is dead. So it's great to be in a position where, God is providing through a job or a company, but it's a completely different thing to not know where your next is.
Yeah.
Where it's coming from, how it's going to come, how big is it going to be, it's a whole different level. So I feel like I've kind of graduated. I'm in the MBA for faith. So it's a process though, because I literally have to talk myself off the ledge sometime because I start to worry and my type A-ness starts to take over, and I pull out the spreadsheet and like, oh shoot, what's going on and projecting out, and I literally have to tell him, look, he's got it. He's always enough.
Yep.
So I think that's something that I'm still growing in that area. And that is by far the thing that the Holy Spirit is working
That's
most
awesome. On a really different level, I think we see that a lot in that upgraded faith in the developing world. Like I said before, I've done a lot of work in Kenya, and the people that I work with don't literally day to day, meal to meal, know where their next is coming from, just like you're describing. Like I said, it's different, but it's the same.
Yep.
And it does upgrade our faith because we have to fully rely on Him as our provider.
Right.
And I feel like it deepens our relationship with Him because we come to trust Him more.
Yep.
Once He's faithful, we know He will be.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Man, what a story, Cheryl.
Yeah. What advice would you have for someone who is at that point of not feeling completely satisfied in what they're doing right now, and they are getting that itch that there's got to be something more? What would you say to them?
There's so many people who just go through like I came to a point where I can't, I don't think I can live like this, like not being lit up by what I have to do day to day. Because I was surrounded by people who were. I would go to the conventions with the dietitians, and they would be so excited over the newest yogurt or granola or flaxseed something another. And I just could not relate. I wanted to. I was there. I looked the part. All the things lined up, except my heart was not in it. And it started to eat away at me inside. And then in diversity, the same thing. I cared about it. I was proficient in it. I looked the part. I spoke the language, but it did not light me up. So I think you have to come to the realization that if that's the problem, you got to address it. Like I could have pushed it aside, and I could still be at that company, probably in a higher level position, but still working on something that just did not give me, that purposeful feeling every day.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it anymore. So if you have those feelings, I'd say go with it. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. I started with taking a little class at the community college.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big thing. I didn't have any plans to quit my job at that point. I was just exploring.
Right.
What other people had recognized in me and what I kind of knew on a deeper level was a passion.
That's good.
So, one thing led to another, and he led me where he wanted me to go.
Yeah.
So just being open to that.
That's good.
And I want our listeners to hear it's never too late.
Yeah.
You're never too established or too old or too, if you feel that in you and there's a hobby you want to pursue, even if it's just on the side and you don't end up quitting your day job, if there's something that feels life-giving, carve out some time for it and just see where the Lord could take it.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I hear God saying there's a young person listening that needs to know that it's never too early.
Ooh,
No matter
that's
what
good
path
too.
you're on, no matter what you've said you're going to do, it's never too early to take a hard left or a hard right and just completely change directions because you want to walk in obedience to where the Lord is taking you.
Yeah.
And to the young people, to your point, I knew early.
Did you?
I did.
Wow.
I ignored it. I let other people direct me. But literally in college, my room was the room that they toured prospective students through.
Wow.
They would be like, Cheryl, we have some people coming in. Could we bring them to your room? Sure. And I'd fluff it up. And, I literally would collect this is long before Target and had a dorm line and all that stuff.
Right.
I would take up my money from my roommate, and I would buy her comforters. My grandmother would make coordinating pillows and valances, and I was designing my dorm room.
Oh my goodness.
So I always knew that was kind of the realm I needed to be working in.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem attainable.
Now, okay, kind of switching gears for a second. Where have you seen God open up doors for ministry in your daily life at work?
So I left. So this was something I struggled with very early on because I was a dietitian, right? I could justify how this was meaningful work. Like I'm helping kids, especially in a kid. Yeah, I'm working with kids. They need healthy, nutritious foods, and I'm teaching them why they need them. Diversity, I could kind of get behind that being meaningful work, right? People equal access to opportunities and equality.
Totally.
Design was a reach for me. I'm like, how is this meaningful work? Like, it's, pillows and drapes, right? Seriously, this is going to be my life's purpose. And we were in a Sunday school class where we were reading Rick Warren's Purpose Driven Life, and this is kind of when I wrestled with that. Like, can't be like my calling. Like, it's got to be more than this. And then I came to realize that wait a minute. Like, I still remember the Raggedy Ann and Andy paintings that were on my childhood walls, the yellow and white bedspread that we had, the twin bed. Like, that was my haven. I grew in that space. I learned in that space. I was creative in that space. It fostered who I am today. So wait a minute, if I'm doing kids' rooms, for example, the same is true for them, right?
So true.
I'm cultivating a space where they can grow and learn and be creative and plant seeds for their future. Then, if I'm doing bedrooms, okay, and for a couple, like, this is where their relationship it grows and is nurtured, right? If I'm doing a living room, like, this is where families come to. So I really became comfortable with the fact that this is very meaningful work. Yes, it's a luxury service that not everybody has access to, but when I leave a house, their home, their life is better than when I came.
And I'm guessing it's probably pretty prayed up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and I hear that. The more work I did, the more I heard stories of, oh my gosh, you don't know. We don't even want to leave home anymore. I can't wait to get home from work. Seems like I'm creating a restorative place where these people feel safe. And definitely it's God's work.
Love it. Wow. Cheryl, what a treat it has been to have a chance to talk to you and get to know you a little bit. We're so glad that you came. And we're going to list links, listeners, to all of Cheryl's work in the show notes. So you guys will have access to all that. And wow, what a delight. Thanks for coming.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Wow, Cheryl is such an incredible woman. I'm so inspired by her dedication to a plan and a strategy. to her being able to finally follow God and pursue her passion. Man, when she was talking about providing those nurturing spaces for individuals and couples and families and kids, and I thought about her just carrying what she has and carrying the Lord's presence into those spaces. It reminded me of this last week at Collected Camp when I was telling the girls about the fact that they carry heaven wherever they go, and they deposit a little piece of heaven in every single environment. And when I was done speaking, our friend Amanda, who's home from Guatemala, whispered in my ear, "It reminds me of bees like pollinating flowers and dropping pollen everywhere." And I immediately remembered that some of the mugs that we gave to our speakers as thank you gifts said, "You're the bee's knees." So I looked it up and I found out that some species of bees carry pollen on their knees. And so it made me think so differently about the phrase, "You are the bee's knees." Mm-hmm. We are each the bee's knees, not only because we're extraordinary in the way that God created us, but in the way that we carry heaven and drop heaven wherever we go, and we cause things to bloom and blossom and grow. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Cheryl, when you listen to this, you are the bee's knees, girl.
Yeah.
And listeners, you are all the bee's knees.
That's right.
Yes, and we are all I'm just kidding. But something that Cheryl said that really stood out to me was perceived security. And that's what she almost deemed her job. Like when she was at a point where she was looking to transition, she said it was perceived security.
That's good.
And I thought, wow, that is so powerful to the way that she called it. Mm-hmm. I was like, wow, perceived security. What we think of being security may not actually be security. And God took her through that process of recognizing that her job was providing security that in a way that actually she needed to release, and she needed to transition into a trust and a security in the Lord that maybe she hadn't actually fully owned. She said she graduated,
upgraded her faith.
Upgraded her faith, and I just thought that was so cool to hear her process and also be challenged by it, because I know I place my security in some things that are actually not meant to be my security.
So true.
So, listeners, I hope that you find great rest as you finish up listening today, that you'll just find great rest in the Lord, who is your security. So
that's good. All right, guys. Well, we will meet you back here next Thursday. Please make sure to subscribe. Make sure you share. Make sure you review and rate.
5 stars, please.
Please. Thank you so much. And we appreciate you. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Collected Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review. And if you like what you've heard, we'd love it if you would help spread the word. Check back here for weekly episodes dropping every Thursday. You can follow Collected on social media at Collected Workshops. Find the Collected Podcast on Patreon at patreon.com/The Collected Podcast. That's Patreon. Become a patron for as little as $1 a month to gain access to bonus content, early bird ticket sales, exclusive contests, and more. You can also find Tia at Tia McNelly Notes, Jess at Spreza Foundry, and Michaela at The Creative Space NC. Collected proudly supports and partners with Flourish Kenya, a nonprofit working to prevent and support unplanned adolescent pregnancy in rural Kenya. Learn more at flourishkenya.org. Support for the Collected Podcast is provided by Clean Juice. Learn more at cleanjuice.com, and be sure to check out their lifestyle arm at wellhappyandkind.com. Podcast recorded by Jacob Early. Music by Asaph Alon.